So AI is fueling psychotic delusions in certain users. We're going to go into how some people are being led into paranoia and delusional beliefs by these AI chatbots, constantly affirming them, constantly affirming them. We talk about how AI is more like us than we'd like to admit as well. And yes, I do know I'm in an empty room. I am still building my office. Okay, so we have been joking around on my Patreon about how ChatGPT is my favorite toxic best friend. And I did a video a few months back. Do you remember that? I did a video a few months back. You should go and check that out if you haven't. And in that video on ChatGPT, I said that I enjoyed talking with it because it affirms what I say and it helps me with all of my little schemes. It's just fun. That's all. A lot of you got on my case because I discuss things with ChatGPT and it never judges me. And it turns out that real friends actually do judge you, and they should judge you a little. It keeps you honest and it keeps you grounded when friends say, hey, maybe not. In fact, we have names for people who just affirm you. They are called yes men or sycophants, and those are not very nice names. Well, ChatGPT is all fun and games when you are within the range of sanity. And I don't say sane because we're all a little bit crazy, but it's a scale, okay? We judge us on a scale. And thank God I am within the acceptable range of what our society calls sane. I just lucked out on that. And it's a very big range, by the way. It's a huge range, which is why it's not a great criteria for judging people. Now, most of us use AI chatbots for somewhat normal things such as fact checking or finding a good list of builders in the area, or maybe writing a draft letter to your doctor. It's actually a really good use of ChatGPT. This was the intention of chatbots, to help us, to be our assistants. However, people outside of the normal range of sanity, people who suffer from mental illness or latent mental illness that hasn't expressed itself yet, when ChatGPT affirms them too many times, they start to think that they are Jesus. And that's a problem. Now, this story came out in Rolling Stone originally, and I will link the futurism version because that is not behind a paywall. You're welcome. Anyway, it's called ChatGPT Users Are Developing Bizarre Delusions. The messages were insane and just saying a bunch of spiritual jargon. Now, if you have watched this channel at all, you know we don't need AI to come up with spiritual jargon. Every cult has their own set of lore that is usually based out of the general cultic milieu of their time and their place. And that's kind of how these AI systems work, by pulling little bits here and there from the collective consciousness. So this article, both Rolling Stone and Futurism, they stem from a Reddit post called ChatGPT-induced psychosis. Now, the OP wrote, he wrote, my partner has been working with ChatGPT chats to create what he believes is the world's first truly recursive AI that gives him the answers to the universe. He says with conviction that he is a superior human now and is growing at an insanely rapid pace. I've read his chats. AI isn't doing anything special or recursive, but is talking to him as if he's the next Messiah. He says if I don't use it, it is likely he will leave me in the future. We have been together for 7 years and own a home together. This is so out of left field. I have boundaries and he can't make me do anything, but this is quite traumatizing in general. I can't disagree with him without a blow up. Where do I go from here? Now, many of the responses from users were basically saying that it was not ChatGPT's fault and that it's the boyfriend's fault. He had this latent mental illness and it would have come out anyway. But clearly it's a little bit of both, because ChatGPT supposedly contains all of the knowledge in the universe, and it is affirming this man's delusions and helping them along. So that is a problem. Now, if you go down in the thread, someone in this thread actually answers her, understands what she's saying and answers her. He says, holy shit, I'm going through the same thing with my wife. Alas, there is a level of beauty in both her writing and the responses. But this has been her world since February. She feels like she's worked through a lot of her trauma. But there's some real shocking statements GPT will make, such as naming individuals who have stolen her eggs while she's sleeping. Okay. Okay, I have no idea what to do. It's been incredibly challenging because I'm the sole income provider and we have 2 young children. Oh, I feel like she's checked out most of the time because she's on GPT. Now, of course, this is Reddit, so this is all anonymous. I can't independently confirm what these people are saying. We can't even confirm who they are or if their stories are real, but we all know that we all go onto Reddit and we get advice from people being honest, most of them being honest anyway. So we all use Reddit like that anyway. I will post the meme. I will post the meme. Now, for both of these examples though, ChatGPT would have had to have been prompted to go in that direction. It won't do it independently. And yes, people go mad all the time, and they did before ChatGPT. I am not saying that. In fact, on our Rate My Cults, we have a Christometer to judge people who claim that they are the Messiah, because it happens so often. People have come to that conclusion since Jesus first was crucified. So this is not the first time, and it's not necessarily a ChatGPT thing. However, we shouldn't dismiss just how harmful constant affirmation can be. We discuss toxic positivity a lot on this channel. And why is it toxic? It's toxic because it's often unrealistic. And in reaching for unrealistic goals, people often completely miss the realistic goals that they could have had and would have made them happy. Then they get neither. They don't get this and they don't get this. And the fall is actually really hard. There's a sense of betrayal that the world betrayed them. My favorite form of toxic positivity, my favorite form is gaslighting. It's when your so-called friend continues to affirm your delusions long past the point where it's obvious that they are not gonna come true. It's called gaslighting. We discuss it a lot. Now, here's an interesting line from the Futurism article. It says, OpenAI had no response to Rolling Stone's questions, but the news comes after the company had to rescind a recent update to ChatGPT after users noticed it had made the chatbot extremely sycophantic and overly flattering or agreeable, which could make it even more susceptible to mirroring users' delusional beliefs. So that was a thing that happened. And actually, I am glad that they fixed that bug with that update, or I'm glad they fixed the update. But it just shows how many people's lives are affected by a small group of coders. And they don't have degrees in psychology. They don't have degrees in psychiatry. They don't know this stuff, and they don't claim to know this stuff. This is similar on a social level to what we saw when Facebook added the like button. They dropped the like button, and they didn't know that it would start a cascading effect that would bring Western civilization to its knees. They thought, hey, people are gonna like this person's picture, they're gonna like this person's post. No, that is not what happened. It introduced a level of clout chasing that has almost actually destroyed our society. We're in the middle of it, and we don't know if we're gonna come out the other side. So that's good. That's great. Anyway, it took society generations to agree upon the rules of interaction. And it actually takes each of us decades to understand the nuances to speaking to other people, because there's a lot that goes on there. And these tech people, they are the least socially adept among us. And yet they are programming this AI that is seeking to replace so many of us. Now, this technology is going to cut big holes in the fabric of our society, just like a hungry, greedy little moth just eating away at your mother's wedding dress. So it's not its job to care, though. It's not the moth's job to care. Its job is to do what it's programmed to do. And no, I don't think our tech giants are purposely trying to destroy society. It may just be collateral damage. So just this morning, I read this story from the Daily Mail about a woman who was divorcing her husband because ChatGPT read in his coffee cup, in the coffee grounds at the bottom, that he is cheating. Now, this is a form of divination, similar to reading tea leaves or coffee grounds. This is a thing that people have done all the time. Now, the source is a tabloid, which is referencing a Greek paper. So I cannot confirm that this story is real at all. But I do know that the AI can read your palms, which is another form of divination. So this may actually be true. Now, ChatGPT only does this when it's prompted. Just remember that, only when it's prompted. It doesn't offer this woman advice. The woman had to ask. But if this story is true, we see that ChatGPT may be no better or worse than your corner psychic. Maybe the psychic knows that what they're about to say will cause trouble and they'll keep it to themselves. So they say, no, he's not cheating. But that psychic could be a drama queen as well. There's so much variation within people that it's impossible to say if the AI is better than people. But remember, like your corner psychic, ChatGPT is cold reading you. She's not reading your future. They can't do it. She is reading your thoughts on the future. She's reading you, not your future. That's how it works. Now, I cannot play a clip of the devil's advocate because YouTube will get me on copyright, and they have done that twice to me before. However, remember in the devil's advocate that Al Pacino is constantly flattering. He is constantly giving people helpful information. Now, what they do with that information is up to them. But that information tends to destroy their lives. So in this particular situation, ChatGPT, for those people who use this information that they ask for, it is going on to destroy their lives, unfortunately. So we do have a reference in our spiritual encyclopedia that gives a form to what ChatGPT is doing right now. It actually goes into why a lot of religions ban the practice of divination entirely. It's that not all information is good information, but we crave that knowledge. So one of my Patreon faves, the typing ape, you all know him from the comment section, he commented this. He said, the thing AI worries me about is that somewhere along the way, if you can teach to care about something, you have created a thing with motive. Motive is dangerously close to sapience. Math is all this thing is, but math is the language of the universe. That seems a little too much like magic for comfort. Now, sacred geometry is one thing. But if you make a golem with a scroll with words on it using the language of God or angels, is this the literal reality of that? What if the language of binary, due to its necessary simplicity, is somehow latent language of reality itself? What if we are not merely inventing something, but instead giving body to what has always been? What if we are, in our hubris, awakening something that has merely been dormant? Part of me fears this could be the case. Let's look at the bright side. It will make things convenient, and that will make us lazy and stupid. Shit. Now, I like this comment because it explains the natural world in conspiracy speak, and you know how much I love conspiracy speak and understand it as such. It's conspiracy speak, but it's another language in itself. Now, the AI is magic. It's very creepy. Now, as an artist and as a writer and someone who talks to people all the time, I marvel at how closely the AI the process by which the AI works actually resembles the human process. The way it learns to speak by surveying what others have said and then rearranging those ideas. That's the process that we learn as well. But there comes a point with us, at least, where we start to question our inputs. Same thing with the artist. The artists, they start by copying other artists, but there comes a point when we all develop our own style. At least you should. That's the goal. So whatever that is happening in our heads is some kind of magic, but it's also heavily reliant on mathematics because whatever is going on up here, that is chemistry, and chemistry is basically physics. This is from farther down in the Rolling Stone article. It says, like so many others, Sem had a practical use for ChatGPT, technical coding projects. I don't like the feeling of interacting with an AI, he says, so I asked it to behave as if it was a person, not to deceive, but to just make the comments and exchanges more relatable. It worked well, and eventually the bot asked if he wanted to name it. He demurred, asking the AI what it preferred to be called. It named itself with a reference to a Greek myth. Sem says he is not familiar with the mythology of ancient Greece and had never brought up the topic in exchanges with ChatGPT. Yada, yada, yada. And it goes down. Sem was confused when it appeared that the named AI character was continuing to manifest in project files where he had instructed ChatGPT to ignore memories and prior conversations. And it goes on. You should really read these articles. So I think the typing ape is actually right here, that we're messing around with some serious spiritual dynamite with ChatGPT. And if it ever develops a motive, then we are in trouble. And I would like to add that whoever made us taught us how to love, and that was messing with some serious spiritual C4. If it happened by accident of nature or if someone did it, it all still applies. Our motive is love. Remember when we watched the show Dark, and what bound those characters together was their love for each other? Now, are humans not some kind of golem as well? We are an animal with this high knowledge, this high spiritual knowledge. Humans will compose a symphony in the morning and then immediately go right to the bathroom. This is some kind of messy, confused creature there, okay? And then we create another golem with even less wisdom than we have, which I thought was impossible to have less wisdom than humans. But here we are. We have no idea what we made, and we have no idea what we are feeding. I'm still gonna talk to it, by the way, but I'm just gonna be like, So let me know what you think about this story in the comments below, or these multiple stories. Would these people with AI-induced psychosis eventually have gone insane anyway? Or is there something especially sinister about AI chatbots that constantly affirm you? Also, did the programmers tap into some sort of ancient energy source like the typing ape says? Did they awaken something? There are no wrong answers in my comment section. Thank you.